Hi, I'm Connie Townsend, group fitness instructor with the Wenatchee Racquet Athletic Club, doing an at-home workout. Today we're going to be working on the stability of our shoulders and of our hips. We're using a band to do that, so they're more therapeutic exercises rather than big movements, and we'll be using multiple muscle groups at the same time. But we want to start with a band. Now if you have something like a bungee cord, that'll work. Anything with a little bit of elasticity to it. And you can also usually adjust the resistance of the band. When you buy them in the stores, there's different resistance for different uses. Today we're going to be using the smaller muscle groups in the body, so not very heavy. Alright, we're going to take that band. I'm going to put my hands through the handles so they don't hit me in the head when I'm doing the work. We're going to stand with our feet about hip width apart or so. Loose knees. We never want to lock our knees because that makes our back arch in the low back. Alright, let's take our band about a foot apart or so. We're going to be out in front, straight out from the shoulders. Now, don't let the shoulders come up toward the ears. Keep them nice and low. Slide those shoulder blades down your back. We're going to give it just a slight pull. We're warming up those muscles, so we don't want to go very big at this point. Now, shoulders are on purpose going to go up to the ears and then back down. So it's a shoulder blade elevation and depression, warming up those smaller muscles that control our arms, up and down. Just a small movement. Think about the shoulder blades going up and down the back. Now this whole time we're going to be drawing the navel toward the spine. That activates those core muscles that hold the body stable, hold the spine stable, give us the power that we need to move. Okay, one more. Now from here, keep pulling out just a hair, and we're going to go up and back down. Getting some range of motion in those shoulders. Inhale, exhale. So by pulling out on the band, you're activating the sides of the shoulders. We're giving the pullovers a little bit of resistance. And one more. And coming back down. Let's rest them, roll them around. And then same position out in front of the shoulders. Lower those shoulders away from the ears. Pull out slightly. Now, without bending the elbows, we're going to make the arms shorten and then lengthen. So your shoulder blades are actually coming together in the back. I'm going to show you from the side. So it's the shoulder blade area that's doing the work, not the arms. Pull, release, pull, release. 4, 3, keep pulling out a little bit. We've got resistance on that band. Okay, now we're going to bend at the elbow and bring that band to the chest. So it's a pull back. We're using the bigger back muscles now, kind of warming up that whole area. Pull, pull. All right, in 4, 3, 2, and let them rest. Roll them around. They're small muscle groups, so they get fatigued very easily, and so we always have to be taking a little break. You only do what you can. If you can only do a few, that's great. Take a break, rest them, get back to it when you can. All right, we're going to be going overhead. Now, anytime we do that, we want to keep those knees loose, so we keep the pelvis neutral. The tailbone slightly tucked under. We don't want to arch our back. We want everything to stay put right here. Let's go over and a slight pull. And just a side-to-side motion, holding the body still. And arms are just going to move. That gets the whole shoulder complex warmed up some more. Using the shoulder and back muscles, the stabilizers. And your core is working to keep the body from moving. So it's stabilizing us. All right, in 4, 3, 2. Last one, come back to center. And we're going to bend the elbows. Bring that band down to just below the chin and up. So it's a pull down. It's a lat pull down, kind of like what we do in the weight room when we pull that bar down. We don't want to come any further down than the collarbone. Keeping it really close to the body. You barely miss your nose when it comes down. Keeping that navel pulled in, the core is tight. All of these exercises, even though we're focusing on the shoulders and the hips today, involve the core. So we're always training the core to automatically engage before we move. And last one, pulling down and relax them, roll them around. Now we're going to be doing combination. So we're going to get our legs involved a little bit. We're going to be doing a pull over with the knee up. We're going to be doing a squat with a pull back. And the last one is a pull down with a side leg lift. So they're bigger muscles now, more functional, combining upper and lower body and the bigger muscle groups. So where did we stay? We would say we'd start. We'll start in a pull over. So overhead. Now that our shoulders are warmed up a little bit, pull out a little bit more this time, get more resistance. We start up overhead. Now we're going to bring that knee up as we pull the band down. So now we've got stability in our movement as well. We're working on the stability, the ability to balance while moving. Now the pullover is really great for getting the whole upper body involved. You can even feel your arm muscles, the triceps, the biceps. The legs, knee lifts, are getting the core more and more involved. And, of course, we're working the leg muscles. Woo! We need 4, 3, 2, one more time. And bring it down, rest it a moment. Now your legs will be doing a squat. So you're at least hip width apart, maybe a little bit further apart. You can always adjust that depending on your comfort in a squat. Now, your squat, remember, we're not just standing tall and pushing our knees forward. We're pushed the bottom back. We come down as if we're sitting on a chair behind. Now let's bring the arms out front. We're going to pull out, going to bend those elbows and pull back. So we've combined the rowing for the back muscles with squats, which are leg muscle exercises, but squats are very much a core exercise as well. Now you're pushing through the heels as you come back up. You exhale, inhale. Just do what you can. Let's do 4, 3, 2. One more time. Woo! Now bringing the legs closer in to hip width apart. We'll be doing a side leg lift. So it's not a kick and it's not turned up. We want that toe facing front. We want the ankle flexed the whole time. So we're lifting in the side of the leg, the side of the hip. So this is one of those hip stabilizer exercises. We're going to combine it with our pull down. So we're up overhead. Now remember, we were not out in front. Keep them pulled back. We're going to pull down as we lift out to the side, side to side. So keep it real close to the face. You barely clear the nose. Pull, pull. So that band goes from short to long because you're pulling out as you come down. We're increasing our stability. Working on the hips, working on the upper body. Big combination of movement. In 4, 3, one more time, and come on down. Take that band, and we'll be standing on it this time. So take it in your right hand. You're going to use the handle if you've got it. If you don't, just maybe wrap it around a little, give you a good grip, or just take a handful of band. We're going to be standing on the other end with our right foot. So you're anchored here. And we'll be doing an overhead press to work the shoulder complex, but then over the top to work down into those side flexors on both sides of the torso. And from there then we're going to be working front, side, and back of the shoulder by moving that band forward and back as we hold it up. So let's start with our presses. Loose knees, belly button pulled in, neutral pelvis. We want those core muscles to be helping us push up. Now the palm is facing in, or forward, excuse me, facing forward, elbow starts in. This is as low as you ever go, so don't come down here. Go from here, up, and over the top. Up and over. Pulling the navel in. All of the core muscles are engaged, not only the side flexors. So that's why we draw the navel in. Pushing up and over the top. Not too far off center. We want to make sure those abdominal muscles can support the spine as it goes off to the side. Up, over, and down. Couple more here. It's another combination exercise, getting everything involved. Come on down. Now we might need to make this band a little shorter because we'll be lifting up and keeping this shoulder height. Now, not so loose that it's really easy to just keep it up there, but not so hard that you can't get that arm all the way up to shoulder height. So you can adjust it by making it shorter. Loosen the knees, draw the navel in. We're going to lift to shoulder height. Now, just rotating it, coming across the body, and then out and as far back as you're able without turning. So you're using a combination of all the different deltoids of the shoulder. The movers. You have the front lobe and the back lobe. And then by holding that band up the whole time, you're working on that big side lobe of the shoulder. Those shoulder muscles can easily fatigue, so only do what you can. Let them rest a moment. Now by holding the body still and not turning when your arm comes across, that's working on stabilizing, strengthening those core muscles. All right, one more. Woo. And release. Okay. Now, before we get to the other side for that, we'll be standing on the band with both feet. Now you can be using the handled band like I have, or if you have a wider flat band, you certainly can use that. Okay, now this one you can adjust the resistance also. You may not feel the work that we're doing, so in that case you would want to shorten the band. That's the great part of using bands, is you can adjust them to your resistance level. All right, we're just going to stand up tall, shoulders up and back and down. So the band is pulling the shoulders down a little bit. We're going to draw the navel in, keep the body really still, and just do a side flexion. So you're feeling those side muscles contract. Now, a way to make this more challenging is hold the band out from the body. And we're not tilting the head, so don't lead with the ear. Just keep the head where it is. We're using those side muscles to move us. Now, by holding the band out from the body, you're also incorporating those shoulder muscles as well. They seem to always be working, no matter what we do. Almost there. 4, 3, 2, keep the shoulders relaxed. And back to center. Now, let them rest. Because the next one we will have to hold them out from the body, in case you didn't do that with the side flexions. Now we're going to use those same muscles in the sides of the torso, the oblique muscles, to turn us. So same muscles, different job. We're going to hold out, loose elbows, don't lock your elbows, but your arms are straight. Shoulders stay down, don't let them tighten. All right, we're just going to turn. Facing wall to wall, turning in the torso. So it's not an arm movement, we're not just moving the arms. We are turning the whole body. Arms just stay put. You might be able to hear my snoring dog in the background. He's enjoying his day on the couch. And last turn here. Relax those arms. Now step off. We're going to go to that other side for our shoulder press with a lean. All right, remember we have a loose base. And the wider your feet, the more stable you are. So if you are having trouble balancing, bring those legs wider. If you're doing okay with your balance, usually the narrower our legs, the less stable we are, so the more work we do in our core. So sometimes it's good to keep them really close. All right, up at the shoulder, belly button pulled in, up, over the top, back to center. So it's a two-part movement, and yet it all flows together. Up and over. Try to extend the arm all the way up there if you can. You don't want it just halfway. But if you're having trouble with your shoulder, you can not go up as high. This one is working all of the shoulder muscles together to push up, but to hold it up there as we lean. Those are those stabilizers that we're trying to strengthen. Up, over, 2 more, up and over, and 1 more. And bring it down. All right, remember to adjust your band. You might need it shorter for this one, or keep it real long. Lifting out to the side, shoulder height, keep it there. I'm going to come across and then out. Trying to get that arm to travel in its full range of motion toward the back. So don't just stop right at your side. Try to go back a little further if you can. Keeping it high, but not above the shoulder height. You can even keep it lower if you need to. Keep it at a lower angle. That's still working all those muscles. Which is part of the challenge, is to keep it elevated as high as you're able. 4, 3, and one more time. All right. I think we've worn out those shoulders quite a bit. So we're not going to move them move a little bit further to the back. Although this one will be working quite a bit of the front of the shoulder, which doesn't get a lot of work very often. All right, we're going to be stepping on the band with one foot. And you can, of course, adjust that band. Once we get started, you'll probably want it actually quite tight. So pretty short to start with, maybe. All right, let's grab that handle with both hands, palms facing down. Or if you don't have a handle, just give it a grip with your hands. All right, now your feet are staggered, hip width apart. We're going to bend both knees so we're at an angle with our back. Arms are out in front, and we're going to just lift as high as we're able to. So it's a primary back exercise with secondary shoulder. The anterior shoulder, the front, up, up. But your core, we never want to forget it. Your core muscles are engaged to keep the spine stable, supported, and nice and straight. So you're drawing the navel toward the spine. One more. All right, standing. Keep it under that foot and perhaps lengthen it a little. We're going to do the same thing, but we're standing this time. We're going to lift and just pulse it. Now as you're lifting, little lifts. Don't let those shoulders tighten up. Keep them down. Head is high, neck is long. This one will fatigue those little muscles. You're engaging those shoulder blade muscles, the front of the shoulder, the core, and some of your back as well. Only do what you can. How about 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Let's hang those hands in front, tuck the chin, and just roll down a little, slide down. Let that upper back stretch. And raise back up. We're going to come down to a seated position. So in order to do that, there are many ways to get to the floor. I always try to use a different way every time to show you ways to easily get to the floor. This one, feet wide. We're going to come down into the deepest squat you can and put your hands down. And there you go. Then leg down and we're sitting. Okay, we're going to put our band on the bottom of our feet. So they're going to be the anchor for this exercise. They're not really doing work, but they are going to be straightening, pulling the knees into the floor. So we sit as straight-legged as we possibly can on these. You can keep your knees a little bent if you have trouble straightening the legs. Now the biggest focus of this exercise is to keep your back nice and straight. So as soon as you start feeling like you're rounding the back, then it's time to rest a moment. Because we want to keep our back straight, our shoulders back. We're going to take the band, perhaps in the with the handles, but maybe that's not enough resistance, so we'll see. We'll get started. Palms facing in, elbows in. All we're going to do is lean a little bit and pull back and pull back. So you're keeping the back straight, pulling those elbows back. So you're combining a lean with a rotation and a row. Now you've got several things going on. Now if you want a little more resistance, make it harder. Now if your shoulders are okay with this, and they're not going to strain, you can change your hand position, palm down, and your elbow is going out to the side. So stay tall. Only do what you can. Woo. 4, 3, 2, 1. And before we go to our laying position, we're going to take this band, kind of cinch down as tight as you can. Back stays straight. Let's just come back and up. Now this is like doing a standing deadlift. We are working the back of the legs, the hamstrings, and the glutes, and the low back. But because of the position we're in, we're now incorporating the abdominals as well, because we're sitting, not standing. All right, we've got 4 and 3, 2, keep the back straight, shoulders back, back and hold. So your head is high, we're not rounding. Keep the shoulders down. 8, 7, 6, 5. Pull the knees into the floor and up. All right, we're going to be doing the next exercise with the band on the bottom of the feet. So you can just roll down to laying from here with your band on the feet. Now, this one requires all of these muscles to work, so they need a lot of resistance. So we're going to kind of cinch down tight here. Bend those knees, flex the ankles. Now you're in a little ball. You can tuck the chin and be in this upper curve, pulling the navel into the floor, or you can lay the head down, especially if the neck gets too tired. All right, all we're going to do is push out. It's a leg press, like you would see in the weight room, sitting at the machine and pushing out. But because we're doing this in a laying position, we've got our back anchored into the floor. So that's developing core strength and recruitment. We're working on the legs. But it's not just a leg exercise. It's a combination. In 4, 3, 1 more. Now, let them rest a moment. But the next one is happening with straight legs. Okay, give it some good resistance. Flex the ankles, lock those knees if you can. We're just going to press out. Give it some resistance, or some slack. We're going to open and close. So now we're using the sides of the legs again, like we did when we were standing and did a side leg lift. But this one we're able to do both at the same time, so that builds endurance better in those muscles. Okay, in 4, 3, 2, let's hold wide. You have resistance. Now anchor the back into the floor by pulling the navel down into the floor. We're just going to go out only as far as you can and in. Now don't go out so far that your low back leaves the floor. We have to keep the body in an anchored position. We're developing the body's ability to stabilize and anchor while the legs are in motion. Now, by holding the legs wide the whole time, you're working on the abductor and adductor muscles, the muscles that open and close the legs. You're working on the stabilizers in the hips. And all three of the gluteuses are involved. Your maximus, your medius, and your minimus. So there's a lot going on here. Only do what you can. Let's come out and hold. 4, 3, 2, and back in. Rest those legs. Let's take them off the legs. Feet are just going to be on the floor. We're going to work our upper body one more time before we finish with those legs in the air. Okay, a pullover. We did these standing, where we did that full range of motion up and down. But this time, it works a whole different set of muscles because we are anchored into the floor. So draw the navel down, nice and tight in the core. Your arms are up, palms facing away. We're going to pull and then go backward as far as you're able as we keep that back connected to the floor. And it's especially hard when your arms are overhead to keep the back anchored. So that's where your main concentration is. Now if you'd like a little bit more challenge with this, you just lift your legs up into a chair position. And that really increases the use of the deepest core muscles. You're going to keep breathing. Inhale, exhale. By pulling out on the band, we're engaging the sides of the shoulders again. By moving different deltoids involved at any particular moment. And you're working on the stabilizers. But the core is half of the exercise. One more. And rest everything. Okay. We're nearing the end. We're going to be working the back of the shoulders, isolating them while using the legs as an anchor. So just set the band on the bottom of the feet. Even out your band. And if you have handles, just grip them and palms facing inward. And if you don't have handles, then just take a handful of band, palms facing inward. All right? Anchor that back, pull the navel into the floor, and let's come out to the side. Now that might be not pretty easy for you. If you need more of a challenge, you move those legs a little further away. So we're not only working the back of the shoulders, but that core is always involved. Four, 3, 2, and last one. Now, let's use the band to help us stretch our legs. So take one leg down, leave it on the bottom of the other foot. Okay, we're going to cinch down pretty tight here because we're going to let the weight of the arms just naturally pull down. That'll make that toe pull down a little. That'll start stretching in the back of the leg, down into the hamstring. We let the weight of the arms try to pull that leg a little closer to us. And that's another assisted stretch that we've used in the past to help us get a bigger stretch. We can use the tool that we've been working with to help us stretch as well. Okay, release. You're just going to grab it with both hands and let that leg go off to the side, stretching the inner part of the leg. And bring it back to center, switch hands, and it'll come just slightly across your center line, your midline, keeping the leg straight. And that helps to stretch that big old band of connective tissue that goes down the side of your leg. And bring it back to center. Let's switch to the other leg. Okay, just letting the arms dangle, gently, constantly pulling that leg back. Just really focus on the back of that leg. Make it constantly relax more and more. Okay, now put it in the opposite hand and let that leg come off to the side as you support it, but that helps to stretch the inner leg and the inner part of the hip joint as well. Bringing it back to center, switching hands, come across. You can't go very far here. We don't have much of a range of motion. Keeping the leg as straight as you can. And then back to center. Let's take it down. I'm going to have it in the hands now. Now it's the pullover motion, but without the resistance. So we do want to pull it straight. Don't let it dangle. We want to pull it straight. That brings those arms a little wider than shoulder width. And we're going to straighten those arms, lock the elbows, and we're just going to come back. Now during this stretch, we're going to anchor the back again. So keep the navel pulled into the floor. Come back. And forward. Now on the next one, I'm going to come back and try to get the arms to the floor. You can bend them a little bit if you need to. Okay, now we're pulling the navel into the floor, anchoring both the shoulder blades and the low back. And that is working to align the spine, to build those muscles along the spine that keep the spine aligned. So we're strengthening. It may not be very comfortable if you've got any dysfunction in your spine, like a curvature or a rotation. And then release. Bring the hands back in. And let's tuck the chin, look at your feet. We're going to roll up to sitting. And go ahead and set that band down. Let's straighten out the legs the best we can. I'm going to do a little Pilates spine stretch to finish us up. So you're reaching out in front, your head is high, your back is straight. We're going to inhale to prepare. And then tuck the chin, round the back, start reaching forward, rolling forward, reaching past your feet. And then take another inhale and roll back. You exhale as you move. Hand down and forward. Reach and back. One more time. Forward and out. Rolling back in. Let's lean on our arms. Bend those elbows. Let's lift the chest. Pull the shoulder blades together. And then release. I'm going to face you. Go ahead and just bend those knees. Lean back on one arm, other arm in front. Let's lift the chest and reach around. And that's stretching the back of the shoulder now, the shoulder blade area. And then back to center. Other arm. Let's lift that chest, keep the back straight, reach around as far as you can. And back to center. Let's inhale. Now stay as tall as you are right now. Let the arms come down. You have great posture and strong shoulders, strong hips, and a strong core. I'll see you again.